Imagine this: years of hard work, countless forms, and finally, that coveted green card in your hand. America is your home, your future. You've booked that dream vacation, a crucial business trip, or maybe a long overdue family reunion overseas. You arrive at the airport, passport and green card ready, a confident smile on your face, only to be pulled aside. An officer looks at you, then at your documents, and says, "We might not let you back in." Your heart sinks. Panic sets in. Everything you've built, everything you know, suddenly feels fragile. This isn't a hypothetical nightmare scenario. This is the stark reality many green card holders are facing in 2025. A quiet but seismic shift in US immigration policy means that your freedom to travel, even as a permanent resident, is no longer guaranteed. Old rules have been rewritten, new traps laid, and the path back home has become a bureaucratic minefield. 7 new stringent rules are now dictating who gets to leave, how long they can stay away, and under what exact conditions they're allowed to return. Miss one detail, and you could risk not just delays, but your very legal status in America. This is the story of 7 new US rules hit green card holders. Travel only allowed if these strict terms are met. So why is this happening? You might be asking yourself, I'm a legal resident, I have my card, why the sudden change? The answer lies in the shifting political winds and a quiet but persistent push to tighten the gates of legal immigration. This isn't about one single law, it's a series of executive actions, policy memos, and court rulings that have all converged to create a new reality. The rhetoric around national security has expanded to include tighter control over who enters and exits the country, even those with long-standing legal status. The underlying message is clear. The US government is re-evaluating the concept of permanent residency. It's no longer seen as an unconditional right to live and travel freely. Instead, it's being treated more like a privilege that can be reviewed, challenged, and even revoked. This new era of scrutiny means that your green card is no longer a simple ID. It's a document that requires constant upkeep and proof of your commitment to the United States. And the first thing officials are looking at, your travel patterns. This sets the stage for the 7 rules you absolutely must know. Rule number 1. The country ban holiday, not a complete escape patch. Back in June, the US rolled out a sweeping new travel ban. Headlines screamed about a list of 12 countries hit with a full ban, and another 7 facing severe restrictions. For most of the world, this was big news. For green card holders, the immediate reaction was a collective sigh of relief. You see, green card holders were technically excluded from the ban. The law was written to say that you, a legal permanent resident, could still travel. But here's the critical catch that no one talks about. Just because you're exempt on paper doesn't mean you're untouched in practice. The moment you show up at a port of entry, that passport from a banned or restricted country acts like a giant red flag in the system. Travelers, even with a valid green card, have reported extra screenings at airports lasting hours, unexpected detentions in secondary inspection rooms, and flights being flagged or delayed simply because of their passport of origin. A Syrian-American green card holder recently shared her harrowing experience. She was returning from a family visit abroad and was held at a New York airport for 6 hours, despite being fully cleared for entry. She was asked invasive, repetitive questions and missed her connecting flight home to California. The delay was so long that she had to rebook everything, a total loss of time and money, all because of a policy that technically didn't apply to her. So yes, you can still travel, but the journey has become a game of patience, preparation, and mental fortitude. It's no longer about whether you can, but whether you can afford the hidden costs, the hours of interrogation, the risk of missing connections, and the sheer stress of it all. This new reality requires a new mindset. Rule number 2. Time abroad. The silent trap. For years, it was an unwritten understanding that green card holders could take trips abroad for up to a year without risking their status. Immigration officers had discretion, often looking at your ties to the US, your job, your home, your family, to decide if you had abandoned your residency. That era is over. Here is the new strict rule. Any trip longer than 6 months without a re-entry permit may now trigger an automatic abandonment of status review. 6 months, not a year. A short, 6-month period is now a hard limit. Imagine you fly overseas to care for a sick parent, manage family property, or handle a business project. If you return after 8 months, customs officers are now trained to assume you've moved your life outside the US and can, on the spot, revoke your green card. The burden of proof is on you to prove that you didn't intend to abandon your home in America. The solution to this is the re-entry permit, or Form I-131. It's a document that proves you intend to return, and it allows you to stay abroad for up to 2 years. But here's the problem. USCIS processing is notoriously slow, with backlogs stretching for months, and sometimes over a year. You cannot rely on an emergency application. One family in California learned this the hard way. The father, a green card holder, left for 9 months to handle his mother's estate overseas. He didn't apply for a re-entry permit, thinking his quick return would be fine. On his way back, he was stopped at the airport, accused of abandoning his residency, and is now fighting deportation in court. The lesson: if you know you'll be gone for more than 6 months, the re-entry permit is no longer a suggestion. It's a non-negotiable insurance policy. Apply early, with months to spare. Otherwise, that trip to help a loved one could cost you everything. Family is the foundation of the US immigration system, but in this new era, even that is under a magnifying glass. Rule number 3. Family green cards under the microscope. If you're on the path to a family-based green card, you already know the process is tough. But in 2025, USCIS has ramped up its demands for proof. It's no longer just about showing a marriage license and a few photos. Officers are now demanding stacks of evidence to prove your relationship is real and that you're truly settled in the United States. They want to see joint bank accounts, shared utility bills, copies of medical insurance, and even receipts from grocery stores. Anything and everything to prove that your life is a shared one, not just a legal arrangement. But here's the most alarming part. Traveling during a pending application is now riskier than ever. Immigration officers are actively reviewing your trips abroad as a possible red flag. They can interpret your travel as evidence that you are not truly settled in the US and that your real home might be overseas. One couple in Texas, trying to get the wife's green card approved, shared their story online. The wife, whose adjustment of status was pending, took a trip back to India to visit her ailing mother. On her return to the US, officers at the border grilled her for hours about why she left, suggesting her real home must be overseas since she was so willing to travel. They twisted a simple act of compassion into a reason to doubt her commitment. The harsh truth is, bureaucracy can turn even the most innocent life events into a red flag. The advice here is simple but crucial. If your green card process is still pending, avoid long trips. Keep meticulous records of all your US ties, from your shared lease to every single bill. You need to be prepared to show every detail of your life, proving your roots are firmly planted in America. We've entered a new era where the simple act of living and working in America may not be enough. Rule number 4. Wealth now shapes immigration. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the immigration community, the US is actively considering a gold card program. This idea, modeled after similar schemes in Europe, is designed to fast-track green cards for high earners and investors. A public statement from a key political figure summed it up. We're going to be doing something else that's going to be very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges. Plus, the message is clear and unsettling. America is shifting its priorities. It's no longer just about family or humanitarian claims. The system is starting to favor those who can bring significant financial value. While this program doesn't directly strip rights from current green card holders, it does create a two-tiered system. Working-class applicants and those on family-based visas face longer waits and tougher scrutiny, while the wealthy get a red carpet pass. This matters to you because if you ever face a renewal, a review, or a challenge to your status, your financial profile could now influence how smoothly things go. A high-paying job, high tax contributions, and financial investments in the US may soon become a critical part of your defense. The stronger your financial ties, the safer you are in this new system. So, the advice here is simple. Keep your employment records clean, file your taxes on time, and demonstrate that you are an economic asset to this country, because your financial profile is now part of the story you'll have to tell. You might think what you do online is your own business, but in this new system, your digital footprint is now a part of your immigration file. Rule number 5. Everyone's being watched. Here's a rule too many people are ignoring. Immigration officials are no longer just looking at your passport and your green card. They are now actively reviewing social media, travel patterns, and other personal data for all 55 million visa holders. And yes, green card holders fall under that scrutiny. That Facebook rant you posted years ago, that old tweet from your college days, that seemingly unexplained trip you took, any of it can now raise eyebrows at the border. The reality is not paranoia. In March, an Afghan green card holder returning from Europe was pulled aside at JFK. Officers had found anti-US political comments he had liked online. He was detained, questioned for hours, and while he was eventually released, he was left shaken and deeply unsettled. DHS openly admits they are watching. The message is clear. Your digital life is not a private bubble. It's an open book that can be used against you. The tip here is simple. Audit your digital life. Go back through your social media history and delete or private lock anything that could be twisted to look like anti-American sentiment. You don't need to censor your entire life, but you do need to be smart. Keep your accounts private where possible, and remember that every post, every like, and every share could one day be part of your file. For most travelers, showing an ID at the airport is a quick, forgettable step, but for some green card holders, especially those who are transgender or non-binary, it's becoming one of the hardest parts of the journey. Rule number 6. Identity rules. Tighten. In 2025, the US quietly shifted its policies around gender markers on official documents. For years, many people could choose an X option, indicating they didn't identify strictly as male or female. But now, that choice can create serious problems at the border. Airlines sometimes refuse to accept IDs with an X marker, claiming their outdated booking systems only recognize M or F. And while customs officers are officially supposed to follow federal guidelines, they often act on personal bias, questioning travelers whose appearance doesn't match the letter on their document. Advocacy groups have documented dozens of cases where transgender green card holders were pulled aside for extra security screenings. They were asked personal questions about their bodies or medical history, delayed for hours, and in some cases missed connecting flights entirely. One story making headlines involved a 28-year-old green card holder from California who flew to Europe for work. On her return, she was detained for over 3 hours because her passport listed F, while her recently updated driver's license had the X marker. The simple mismatch triggered a fraud alert in the system. She was forced to explain her entire life story to a stranger, all while being held in a sterile, intimidating room. So what can you do if you're affected? Carry multiple forms of ID, your passport, your driver's license, and your green card. Bring supporting paperwork like a court order for name changes or medical documentation if you feel comfortable. Most importantly, know your rights. You cannot be denied re-entry because of a gender marker issue, but you may be delayed. This issue is about more than just paperwork. It shows how immigration policy isn't just about visas and borders anymore. It's about identity, culture wars, and which groups are being singled out for scrutiny. For green card holders, that means being caught in the crossfire of America's ongoing debates. But remember, being prepared isn't giving in. It's protecting yourself and your right to be who you are until the system catches up. If you've had your green card for a while, you know it comes with an expiration date, usually 10 years. In theory, renewing it should be a straightforward step. But in 2025, nothing about the US immigration system is straightforward. Rule number 7. Expired green cards. Not the end, but risky. The government is currently dealing with record-breaking backlogs. At one point this year, more than 9 million immigration cases were pending. That means thousands of green card renewals are stuck in limbo, with processing times stretching far beyond the expiration date on the card itself. To fix this, USCIS began automatically extending the validity of expired cards for up to 24 months. But only if you filed your renewal paperwork and have proof. So, your expired card, plus the official receipt notice, Form I-797C, is supposed to be a valid document. Sounds good, right? Not always. The government may know the rules, but many airlines and even some foreign airports don't. Travelers have been denied boarding because airline staff, unaware of the policy, insisted on a physical, unexpired card. And while border officers are instructed to honor these extensions, they still have the final say. If they suspect any kind of issue, you could be pulled aside for hours. One green card holder from Florida shared his experience online. He was returning from a family trip to Argentina with an expired card and a renewal receipt. At the Buenos Aires airport, the airline nearly refused to let him board. He had to escalate to a supervisor and show the official USCIS policy page on his phone before they relented. Here's the takeaway. Renew early, at least 6 months before expiration. Always carry your renewal receipt with your card. Print out the official USCIS policy page to have on hand, in case airline staff don't know the rules. The system is messy, but knowing these details can be the difference between returning home on time or being stranded abroad. So what do all these rules add up to? They tell us one thing: being a green card holder in 2025 is not as simple as it used to be. It's no longer just about having a piece of plastic that grants you security. It's about proving again and again that your life is truly rooted in America. Think about it. You can be grilled about your social media posts. You can lose your status just by spending too much time caring for family abroad. You can face discrimination because your ID doesn't fit neatly into government boxes. You can even be questioned about whether your marriage is real enough. This is the political side of immigration today. Green cards were once seen as the secure stepping stone to citizenship. Now, they feel more like a probation card. Freedom with strings attached. But let's not lose hope. Many immigrants are fighting back, challenging unfair denials in court, joining advocacy groups, and winning policy changes. The lesson is clear. Don't underestimate the rules. Knowing them is your best defense. And if you're feeling discouraged, remember that millions have built lives and families under tougher conditions. You are not powerless. So what's the action plan? How do you turn all this information into real protection? Here is a step-by-step checklist you can use to travel with confidence, even in this new reality. Number 1. Plan every trip with the 6-month rule in mind. If you know you'll be gone for more than half a year, apply for a re-entry permit, Form I-131, before you leave. Backlogs are brutal, so don't wait until the last minute. This is your number 1 defense against being accused of abandoning your status. Number 2. Build a travel binder. Fill it with proof of your life in the US. This isn't about paranoia. It's about preparation. Include tax returns, a lease or mortgage, pay stubs, utility bills, and even school records for your kids. If an officer ever questions your ties, you'll have evidence ready to show you've established your life here. Number 3. File everything early. Renew your green card, passport, and any necessary permits months ahead of time. Don't risk being one of the thousands of cases stuck in limbo. A little foresight can save you from a world of stress. Number 4. Stay professional online. You don't need to censor yourself completely, but you must be aware of how an immigration officer might interpret your posts. Avoid anything that could be twisted to look like anti-American sentiment. The rule of thumb: if you wouldn't want a government official to see it, don't post it. Number 5. Check the rules before every trip. Don't assume yesterday's policy still applies. Laws and executive orders can change overnight. A quick check of official sources before you book could save your legal status. Number 6. Seek legal advice for complex cases. If you're dealing with a divorce, long absences, or a past criminal record, talk to an immigration lawyer before you travel. A little advice up front can prevent life-changing consequences at the border. Number 7. Stay connected. Immigrant communities are powerful because they share knowledge and experience. The rule you don't know could be the one that trips you up. By staying informed, you protect not just yourself, but your community. Yes, these rules are strict. They can feel overwhelming, even unfair. But here's the truth. Immigrants have always faced challenges in America. Time after time, they've overcome them. Think of the generations before you. They faced language barriers, discrimination, and even harsher laws. Yet they built businesses, sent their kids to college, and laid the foundation for today's communities. Your green card is not just a document, it's proof of resilience. The key is preparation. By knowing these rules, you can travel with confidence. And by sharing this knowledge, you protect not just yourself, but your community. Because remember, these rules may be strict, but they're not permanent. Policies shift, courts intervene, and advocates push back. If history teaches us anything, it's that people always find a way forward. So if this video helped you understand the new rules, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more deep dives. Tell me in the comments which of these 7 rules worried you the most. Let's start a conversation, because when we share knowledge, we share strength. And with that, I'll leave you with this final thought. Travel smart, travel prepared, and for the love of all that is holy, don't you dare like an angry comment on Facebook. I'll see you in the next video.